National Action Network State Director Elder James Johnson has been serving the public for over 40 years. Now, he wants to be the next state representative for South Carolina House District 109. I speak exclusively with Elder Johnson for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on social media. Elder James Johnson.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, 2 years.
It's been a while. It's been a while, you know.
Welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Good to be back, Quintin.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I gotta go take it back to maybe, what was it? I guess it was last month. I was running through the Height in North Charleston, and I noticed some of your signs along, Meeting Street Road by, Burford's and other locations. And I noticed that you're running for David Mack's soon-to-be retired seat, which is House District 109.
Exactly.
Why Elder James Johnson? Why 109?
109 because that's the district I can run in. That's why I have residents. So that's the district, and that district is almost, I would say, close to 70% black.
Okay.
People that I've been working with in civil rights for many years. So that's why I decided to run for that district. And one of the reasons, we got 40 years of civil rights. I've been the president of just about every major civil rights organization there is, from SCLC to Rainbow Push Coalition, now National Action Network, and also a member of NAACP. I think it's time for me to move. I've had longevity into civil rights over 40 years. Right. So I think now I may need to move in the State House where I can understand clearly where the money is being distributed to, and bring money not only to that district, Quincy, to the whole South Carolina, because I am going to be, when I get elected, a representative for the whole South Carolina and the things that I want to bring out. One of the things that we have to do, Quincy, they said in 2038 blacks will not own anything in America. I want to be the one to change that. We have to create generational wealth in our community, because we won't leave anything for our kids, our grandkids, our great-grandkids. They would be in the same predicament that we are in now in Charleston and in other areas that we don't own much of anything. How I will build that generational wealth is to bring contracts. The contracts within the state of South Carolina is not enforced. Nobody seems like they want to enforce the contract for minorities. So I would be the one to enforce that. So I would tell all the minorities who have business to get their house in order, because that's one of the main things that I will address, creating generational wealth in South Carolina.
In South Carolina. And how will that look in the next 2 years if you were to be elected?
It will. It's not going to be an easy job. You got to remember, it's going to be a fight. But I've been fighting all my life, Quincy, all my life in civil rights. So I believe with my faith, and I believe in the Lord, I think it will happen. I've made in many years some significant changes, not only here but across the state of South Carolina. One thing that we have to understand, that we would like for people to understand, that I'm not going into this position for self-interest. I've been in 40 years. I have proved myself. I have nothing to prove. I'm going in this position just to help not only black folks but poor people. Robert Ford said something to me that stick with me. He said to me, Johnson, you would be a fighter simply because attorneys have a conflict of interest. There's several bills that attorney could even vote on because of the conflict of interest. I don't have that. I don't have a conflict of interest. I just want to help the people. I'm satisfied with my life, and I don't need the income. I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking to help people. That's all.
That's all. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about March 18th. How did that day start and how did it end for you?
On that day that I signed, It started, well, people encouraged me. Once I heard, and Wendell Gilliard called me
Okay.
and said, Elder Johnson, David Mack is not running again. You should run for that position. And right then I said, I will, simply because I were running for the position 2 years ago, the position that Pendavis had,
Right.
and several people in Charleston called me to a meeting and asked me to give Pendavis a chance, and that's what I did. So since this came open, it was an opportunity to run for this position. You know, I've never ran for a state position before, but I think I would do well.
Do well. What was that process like to file for House District 109?
It was a new experience. Thanks to John. John kind of walked me through it because he ran for a political office, and my family encouraged me. Said if that's what you want to do that. It wasn't nothing new because I've been in politics, being a civil rights leader across the state for 40 years. So I just think that this will be a new adventure for me. And trust me, I would do the best I can for the people. That's all.
How did your relationship begin with the constituents of House District 109?
How the people within the district?
Yeah, how did your relationship begin with them?
Began with them several years ago because the people who I've been fighting for several years is in that district. We got Ackerby, Union Heights. You got Dorchester Terrace, Wheeling,
right?
And those people know me. All of them know me, and so it began 40 years ago because I'm pretty sure I do a little walking now, Quincy, in the community with my mask and my gloves on.
Okay.
And once people know that I'm running, they're very excited.
Okay.
We are going to vote for you. We know that you're going to do a good job, and that's every community that I go in. So I'm pretty satisfied with the people, and the people know that I'm a fighter.
What do you love most? You just mentioned this about Ackerby. What do you love most about the Ackerby neighborhood?
That's why I raised up. My grandfather was the pastor and one of the founder of New Hope Baptist Church.
Right.
I used to walk to Ackerby from where I lived at, and it was about 2.5 miles to Sunday school every morning. So, it's Ackerby, Union Heights. It's not a strange place to me. I was raised and born in the community.
Tillman Street. When you think of that street in North Charleston, what comes to your mind?
Tillman Street is where I was raised at. In Tillman Street. I have property in Ackerby, but Tillman Street is a unique street for me, simply because that's where my grandmother, my mother, and all my sisters was raised. And it was not a city; it was a country. And they had hogs and chicken and cows and stuff up there. So it was very unique place for me.
Yeah. Now, as we sit here right now, how long have you been living in House District 109?
Right now, I have had property and living in House District 109 for at least 8 years.
Okay. That's great to hear. Now, you mentioned John Singletary earlier. He said this about you: if you want results, Elder James Johnson is the candidate for District 109. What other results have you produced for this district thus far?
What are you talking results? I mean, I can't even describe the success of fighting for individual in this district. As far as you talking about infrastructure or roads or something like that? No, but individual. And I don't count who I help, so I didn't bring a list of people, but I'm guarantee you it's a list long of people I've helped in this district. I'm pretty sure. That's why I get the kind of welcome when I go in this district.
You talk about roads. I got to take you back to the Hike area. Obviously, there's going to be a port access road there. How will you, as a state representative, make certain that those people in those neighborhoods keep their homes?
Well, first of all, we're already fighting them even before I got elected. I've had several meetings with the Department of Transportation on that bridge that's coming through that road, wanting to know the environmental effect on that community. They have not given me that yet, and that was some 4 months ago. That excess port in there, we have to. Right now, I've raised up in that district, all that district. Several people went to school with me in that district.
Right.
And right now, it's changing. Why it's changing? You have Caucasians in the community now. We have to look out for gentrification because some of the properties there has been taken, some of the property has been sold. Black community will not be a black community if we don't stop the gentrification within that community and several black communities in Charleston. So that's what we're fighting, the gentrification. This Department of Transportation should not be in the business of gentrifying people or poisoning our community. We got the coronavirus here right now. We got the chemical plants across the streets of Union Heights. You got the trains on Sproul Avenue with the chemicals there. And they got a high rate of cancer. And when the coronavirus came, these underlying health conditions that's already in the community is going to kill our people. And it's going to do that. So we will fight hard to remove the chemical plants from the community, fight hard to remove those train cars and bring the chemical back there. Nobody ever addressed these issues. I will.
And what other issues will you address, Elder, if you were to be elected state representative?
Well, you know, I've been fighting for a long time for better education for our people. I said that 2 years ago that our kids were in a state of emergency simply because we had kids from 3rd to 8th grade failing math and reading in Charleston County School. Issues like education, especially health care, is what I would be fighting. But the main thing is that I want to fight is creating generational wealth for our people. Make showing that they can leave something for their kids. Make showing that they can create enough wealth to open businesses. Our dollars don't stay in our community no more than 6 hours now. It goes out of the community because we don't own nothing in that community.
What bill would you propose to make certain that these people get generational wealth?
Well, I can't tell you the bill I'm going to propose because I'm not there yet. I got to see. Exactly. I haven't been in this position, but I will learn all I can learn about it. So I can't tell you what bill I would propose now.
You talked about education earlier. Let me talk to you about the single member districts. Is that ideal for House District 109?
Single member district is something that I fought for many, many, many years, and I will continue fighting for single member district. Well, we have to see how they're going to rewrite the map to see if it's going to be that effective for House member District 109. And that, well, I will look into once I get in office.
Okay. I know, obviously, you said that you have been fighting for better housing, better jobs, fair contracts, education, and voting rights. How many contracts have been awarded under your leadership with NAN?
How many contracts to what? Oh, you got to understand, this is a civil rights organization. This is not a contract awarding organization.
Okay.
This is a civil rights. I understand civil rights. You know, we fight for the people. When I get in this position, then I can fight for the contracts.
How many of those will you fight for?
Just about all, especially contract when it comes to minority.
Okay.
And we understand the minority is not getting the contract that they should get in the state of South Carolina. Let's don't get it twisted between a civil rights organization and the position that I am running for right now. Don't get that twisted because I've helped so many people with racism and discrimination, education, and so on. So.
And I know, obviously, you talk about protecting your interests of the people in House District 109. What will that interest be right now that you're looking at right now?
Protecting the interests of all people in House District 109. All people in the state of South Carolina. That's what I've been doing for many years, protecting the interests of all people in South Carolina. That interest also would be racism and discrimination, fair housing, contracts within the state of South Carolina. So I will be fighting for all the people. I don't want to put borders on this district.
Okay.
I don't want to do that because when we put borders on there, we think we're just fighting for those people when other folks across this state looking for somebody to fight for them. So let's don't put borders on it. I'll be fighting for all the people, which I've been doing for 40 years.
And when you look at fair housing 5-10 years from now, how should that look in your mind?
Fair housing would be affordable housing that people can afford. When we can build houses that people can afford, we have, especially in the district, the majority of people live below the poverty line in that district. So we'll be fighting for a affordable housing that people can afford within their income level.
And I know obviously you were a United States Marine and you fought on the front lines to protect the constitutional rights of citizens in this country. And you said today is obviously you're still fighting on the front lines by protecting human rights in the community. What are the human rights right now in District 109?
The human rights in District 109 it's obvious. In District 109, when we look at a local level in the local government,
sure.
In District 109, we have food desert. That's in District 109 on the south end.
Right.
Nutrition. So if we don't have grocery stores, our kids don't get nutrition that they need. That's distributed to the COVID virus right now. That's their body are weak because they're not getting the proper food they need to keep their body strong. Poor housing, chemical plants in the community. That's a human rights situation. So we have to fight for those basic human rights issues within those communities. And trust me, I will fight for those. So I believe in those districts that's not being treated fair with our local government. So we will fight on the state level to see what we can do to increase those fair housing and those environmental issues that's in our community.
And let me get there, back to the grocery store issue. What do you want to see on the south end?
I want to see grocery stores. I want to see grocery stores. I'll give you an example. Look at Park Circle.
Yes.
Millions of dollars were poured into Park Circle. The community, sidewalks, trees, flowers, all put there by the city. Take a stroll in Ackley or Union Heights. No grocery stores. We got board up houses. We got rundown houses that people still live in. Look like it should be in the third world country. We got all of that within the poor and the black community versus the white community, So that has to change. The local government himself actually gets also funds from the state government. We have to see that those funds go to where it was the state and the federal government. We have to see that those funds go to where it was intended to be. All that we have to look at and make sure that happens within these communities. We have to bring a change in these communities.
And how would you work with North Charleston Mayor Keith Summey to make certain these monies come to this community?
I can't answer that question.
Okay.
I can't answer that question until it happens.
Until it happens. Let me get back to the affordable housing. How affordable should these homes be in this district?
Affordable that where people can afford it. They do it now for homeless people. That they can build houses for a certain amount of money that homeless people can go into. We can build houses. The thing about it is houses are being built for a big profit.
Okay.
If we can build houses that people just can afford with a smaller profit margin, and then people can afford it. The builders want to get rich. So they want to get rich. So we have to find a way to do this. It's not been challenged before. So we're going to challenge all those issues.
And I know you just said that the builders want to get rich. What do you hope those developers will bring in as far as incentives into the district?
Developers on the houses?
Yes, sir.
Well, one thing. Hopefully, they're bringing some understanding that they want to do this. They want to see the community improve. They want to see the community rundown houses look better, where they can create a profit that that can help them a long way to build another house. Not right now build houses where they can half of the profit is half of the profit of the house. Goes to the builders. We have not tried this stuff. One thing that I want to do is to create a minority companies of builders that can do this, that can actually come in and build some affordable houses and not being greedy and getting profit. Hopefully we can do that. That's something we got to look into because we're not there yet, Quintin, but it's on my radar to do that.
Okay. And what else will be on your radar when you get into the office?
I have to get in office first. It's a,
Okay.
it's a whole lot on my radar that I just don't want to talk
Sure.
about right now.
Sure.
But I just need to get there, and we'll see. We still in the learning process. We're not there yet, but once we get there, hopefully I'll be able to work across the aisle to make things happen for poor and black and brown people.
What have you learned about House District 109 from 40 years ago to right now?
I haven't House District 1. I haven't learned too much of anything. Like I told you, it's just, I've been in civil rights,
Sure.
fighting for the rights of people. Now, I would have to get there to find out exactly. It's not too much difference in the politics.
Sure.
It's not at all. So once I get there, I will see exactly what I need to do. So that question you asked me, I'm not going to answer it right now, but come back within another year, you'll get an answer.
Elder James Johnson, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Okay, Quintin.
Quintin.
Quintin, it's okay. It's all right. All right, it's been a long time.
Yes, sir.
And the last time we had that interview wasn't a pleasant one. So I say welcome back to Elder Johnson too. I'm the one that I speak my mind.
Sure,
People don't like it, so it's okay. It's
Okay.
all right. It's all right. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. My work for the last 40 years it speaks for itself.
Okay.
Just as simple as that. So I don't worry about it. I'm 65 years old right now, and I got less time ahead of me than I have behind me. But I know I want to work that time I got ahead of me for the people.
Okay.
So anything people do to try to say or trap me, it doesn't really matter. It really don't matter because I know me, and it's all right with me. So anything anybody want to say or come up with, I just brush it off the back of my head like water because I know it's in this heart and I know what I have done in the last 40 years. So it doesn't make a difference to
Okay.
me. Not at all. My job is to work for the people, and it's always been that. Working for the people and sacrifice. It's always been that all my entire life, and I will continue doing that.
Thank you for this.
It's as simple as